to take us through, the three things that people need right from here before they even visit one of those things.
So number one, if you don't have your passport yet, you will definitely want to obtain a passport. A lot of people think that, and also your visa. So a lot of people think that a visa is a document in itself. Actually, a visa is a stamp that you get inside of your passport. So once you obtain your passport, you will take your passport, get an envelope that is already self-addressed to you, send your passport to the embassy, and the embassy will put the visa inside, send it back to you. And now you have your visa, your passport ready to go. And then you also need your yellow fever vaccination. And so you can actually get this vaccination from a local clinic. A lot of times they may have to order it, but it is just one of the steps that you have to take in order to make it into Ghana. No African country will allow you in without the yellow fever vaccination.
And now they said the airport, they're able to give yellow fever. Those ones.
Yes, I've heard if you want to take that risk. I've heard that some people have actually gotten it on arrival, and it's a lot cheaper. So most times if you get it here in the States, it's about $300. If you get it on arrival, it's about $20. So you may want to wait and get it in the airport. Some people don't like to, put that risk out there, and they want to have all their documentation ahead of time.
And talking about people who want to move, of course, and live there, and the resident permits piece. Of course, Ghana requires that you have a residence permit to be able to live for a certain amount of time for those who are actually residing. Okay, so that's something that you want to look at with the immigration service. And what I know that is done is that with a residence permit, now for people who end up getting married to Ghanaians, like my wife, it's a whole different process altogether, if you like. Okay, you can start applying for certain things right from the onset. But however, if you're somebody who is just randomly showing up to the place, you're alone and all of that, there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have to be doing some renewals when it comes to the residence permit. Like every 3 months, you may have to come and renew at the Ghana Immigration Service. And if you live there for some time, you're able to also get for 1 year. You can give it for 1 year. That at least within 1 year, you don't have to renew, or sometimes 6 months, you don't have to renew. So that's with the residence permit piece. Now, if you want to work in Ghana, and if you're not coming to Ghana with through an employer, where you need like a work permit to be able to do that, where the employer is able to give you a letter. So right before you come, the embassy gives you a work permit before you come in. If that's not the case, and you come in and you now want to work in Ghana, you want to go to the immigration service and then go through their processes to get a work permit, so you can be able to do that, to work in Ghana. Okay, now if you want a driver's license, if you have an international driver's license, you can use it in Ghana. But why not get a Ghanaian one once you're living in Ghana? So you can go to DVLA, you can be able to do that. Again, you need help. You need help to go through all these processes. I'll be mentioning that all the time. You need help to do that. It makes your life a lot easier. If you're starting a business, you need either a local partner, or you want to do it yourself. The GIPC has some quotas based on where you're coming from. If you have Ghanaian descent and you've been to Ghana, you have a Ghanaian passport and all of that, it becomes a lot easier. But of course, if you're somebody who has, even though you're Ghanaian descent, but you have no direct ties in terms of Ghanaian passports and all of that, of course, you also have to go through the same process of having a quota and all of that. Okay, so you need to get a TIN number, what we call a TIN number. So that's part of the documentations when you want to get a business. For those who want to start businesses, you need a TIN number, and that will help you to be able to get all the necessary documentations when it comes to doing business. You need to register the business. If you have a local partner, there's a quota, $200,000. If you're solely owned, the business as a diaspora, either African American or from the Caribbean or wherever, you need $500,000. But when you get what do you call it, a Ghanaian partner, there's a trick to how you can go about it where your cost is not that huge. And that's one of the things that we actually teach people. So you want to consider that. If you want bank accounts, it's very key that you look at it. Now, I'll just use that opportunity to touch on the Ghana and American currency. I saw a quick comment in the thing that talked about that. I think that when it comes to the US currency, of course, the dollar is higher than the Ghana cedi, and then the pounds is, I think, higher as well. And that is higher than both the dollar and and then of course the cities. So that gives you some advantage there when it comes to Ghana and maybe doing business or doing any of these things that we're talking about. Because the currency is higher, it gives you leverage to be able to do a lot more. Okay, if you plan properly, it gives you the leverage to do that. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly. So if you need a bank account, that's something you can also initiate that process and show that at least I have permits to be here. So therefore I need a bank account, and you'll be able to do that. It's a fairly simple process. But once you get help, they can take you through all of those processes. And with the business requirements, if you get help, you can be taught all the business requirements. But if you want to start a business, of course, you know the thing that you need: registration, GIPC, approval, and you're quick to go.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention that, or make it clear that, you know, every business requirement is not the $250,000 dollars. There are some exceptions to that rule, and there are also some ways that you can go around it if it is one of the businesses that you need $250,000.
Exactly. So and there's some business as well that you don't need any of that at all. Like for example, manufacturing. If you're into manufacturing and you're coming from the outside, you don't need any quota at all. JIPC gives you a pass to be able to do that. And even imports as well and exports, you have a pass to be able to do that without having to bring in that quota. So that also is something you need to understand when it comes to the business piece, if you want to do business while you're in Ghana. And then of course, one of the document paperwork that is involved, and it has to do with health insurance. A lot of people from the outside who are used to, some of us who grew up in Ghana, you know, we're not really concerned about health insurance. We were sick, we go to the hospital, they treat us. But those from outside, they like to be secure, they like to be insured. So health insurance is something a lot of people have concerns in. That's something that you work out during the paperwork period. If you're doing your search and having help, you can work out the health insurance. There are a lot of insurance companies all around Ghana that can help you be able to get a good health insurance whilst you're living in Ghana.